In the name of He, the He that is there before any other He, the He beside who there is no other He apart from He, the He that is not began, but began every beginning, the He that will not end, but will end all the ends, He that judge all and cannot be judged, the questioner that cannot be questioned. He is Allah. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa. Lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Aya Allahu ya samadu. Ya Allahu ya fardu. Ya man la lahu waladu. Ya Rabbi Jalla Rahman. Ramadan Kareem to all the Muslim viewers all over the world. My name is One Chojon. You are here with us live on USTV Africa. Today is another special edition of Ramadan Reflection. Our topic of discussion today is things that vitiates fasting, things that invalidates fasting, things that spoils fasting. Like we told you in our introductory part of the discussion yesterday, we made possible efforts to define what is fasting in the month of Ramadan. We equally try to talk about category of people in fasting. We pointed out those that should fast compulsorily, those on whom fasting is optional, and those that are prohibited from fasting, as well as some misconception about Islam. Today, because of the importance of fasting in the month of Ramadan, it is very important for us to know what to do and what not to do in order for us to achieve the aim of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Just like the verse that prescribed the fasting said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba alal ladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. The last part of the verse is where I want you to pay attention. La'allakum tattaqun. The essence of fasting in the month of Ramadan is to enable you become God-fearing, to enable you become God-conscious. That is the reason why fasting is prescribed for you, to increase your faith, to increase your fear of God. Therefore, in order for you to achieve this, you must guard against certain things that could invalidate your fasting. Before we go into this topic, I will want us to take note of the fact that whatever thing that spoils your fasting, you will pay at the end of the month of Ramadan. Then the number of fasting to pay back is dependent on what spoils the fasting, either if it is intentional or unintentional. Let us take a step-by-step look at some of those things that spoils fasting. Number one, eating or drinking in the daytime before the time for iftar. If a Muslim that is fasting drink or eat before the time for iftar, that fasting is automatically invalid. It is spoiled. It is invalidated. If you intentionally drink or eat during the daytime before the time for iftar, that fasting has spoiled. And at the end of the month of Ramadan, you are going to fast 60 consecutively in place of that one that you spoiled intentionally. It means you fast back to back every day for 60 days in place of that one fasting that you spoiled intentionally. And remember, fasting is a direct command of Allah and is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. So it is fundamental in the practice and principle of Islam. Number 2, intentional vomiting. If you are fasting and you induce anything that makes you vomit during the daytime, that fasting becomes invalid. Number 3, menstruation. A woman that is fasting, if she sees her menstrual blood in the daytime while fasting, that fasting automatically becomes invalid. That appearance of monthly blood spoils the fasting. But in this case, she is not going to pay double of it. Rather, at the end of the month of Ramadan, she pay back the number of days that she missed for the menstrual period. Number 4, sexual intercourse. A woman or man that is fasting, if he or she have sexual intercourse with the opposite partner, that fasting becomes invalid for both of them. At the end of the month of Ramadan, they are going to pay back 60 in place of that one fasting that is intentionally invalidated by the two parties. Here, it is categorized into different groups. If you have the sexual intercourse in the dream and you notice that you ejaculated in the process, once you wake up from the sleep, bath and continue with the fasting. Scholars varied in opinion on this. Some scholars said your fasting is intact. Some said the fasting is invalidated. Then the third class of scholars hold the view that fasting you are not going to eat, the fasting has become invalidated. Then at the end of the month of Ramadan, you pay back only one because it was not intentional. Number 5, masturbation. If you are fasting and you touch your genital intentionally, it spoils your fasting. Here, in this case, your intention for touching the genital is very, very important. Maybe, for instance, as a man, you notice that your manhood is not properly packed. If you put your hand in your trouser to pack it properly, that is not an issue. If you touch your organ because you want to urinate, that is not an issue. If you sit down and you notice that it is too tight for you and you put your hand in there to adjust it, there is nothing bad in that. But if your intention for touching your genital is to feel sweet, that fasting becomes invalid. If you feel sweet, it is invalid. If you do not even feel sweet but you touch it because with the intention to feel sweet, the fasting becomes invalid. The same law is applicable to the women. If you are fasting as a woman, you can touch your genital, maybe because you want to urinate or because it itches you, fine. But if your intention for touching your genital is to feel sweet, it invalidates your fasting. If you feel sweet, the fasting becomes invalid. If you do not feel sweet, so long as your intention is to enjoy it, your fasting becomes invalid. Apart from those major things that invalidates fasting, on a general note, if you are fasting, there are some actions that you will take that will not spoil your fasting but reduce the reward of your fasting. For instance, if you are fasting, you are not expected to say immoral and indecent things. If you are fasting, you are not expected to sit around people that are not fasting and be discussing things that could reduce the reward and value of your fasting. The essence of fasting is to increase your God consciousness, to increase the fear of Allah in you. Therefore, if you are fasting, let the difference be there between the day that you are fasting and ordinary days. Like some scholars of deep spirituality will say, 11 months is for you, 1 month is for Allah, and you are expected to use this 1 month to recharge your spiritual life. Therefore, all the things that could reduce the value and reward for your fasting, avoid them. Indecent talk, indecent look, indecent behavior, and things like that. Imagine someone that is fasting and is not observing Salat. It is not right. If you are fasting, you should equally observe the Hamsa Salawat, 5 times prayer daily. If you are fasting, you should devote time to recite some portion of the Quran every day. If you are fasting, try to give out to the next door neighbor, no matter how little that you can give. If you are fasting, try to be of good behavior. If you are fasting, devote time to do the iftar together with members of your family. It fosters love, unity, and togetherness. My name is Alhaji Onechojon, your guide on the program today from the station of USTV Africa. We are the voice of the new Africa. If you are yet to follow us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and all the social media platforms. The handler is the same everywhere, USTV Africa. Once you search USTV Africa, it will pop up, and then click subscribe, like, or follow. Then you'll be member of our larger international family, so that you will not miss the lineup of programs that we have for you all through this Ramadan. See you again tomorrow with another interesting edition of this program. Thank you very much for being with us. Ramadan Mubarak.